What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 14th of January, 2026. This is In the Image Clothing Company's main side, where we allow the body to work. One of our fourths to In the Image Clothing Company. I think there's a fire. I don't know where. A lot of times here in Utah Valley, in the state of Utah, we live up Utah, as in the Image Clothing Company, but we'll get fire, smoke, okay, from wildfires in California, just a couple states away, come and just settle in our valley here. I don't know, the air quality is pretty terrible right now. Dante's here, my purebred standard poodle. Well, purebred, Dante's a rescue. Okay, I don't know if he's purebred, but he's got to be purebred. Maybe one day we'll genetic test Dante and see what we find. This video is under our main site, as I said, In the Image Clothing Company. We allow the body to work. This video's title is Sensory Activation in the Body. We do it as we do, blunt, bold, raw, and real. Surrounding sounds where they are. It's as if you're just actually here with us. So, yeah, okay, clothing company. We're designed in the image of God, Jesus Christ. And we're a clothing company, okay, our 5-word company name there, In the Image Clothing Company, because anything that clothes the human being is clothing. The body with something. It doesn't have to be tops and pants and shoes, socks, undergarments. It can be jewelry, it can be glasses, it can be hats. Anything placed onto the body is placed onto the body. There's only one way the human body could ever work. No opinion, no new information. The human body is just mechanics, okay? Dante, my doggy here, you'll see him throughout this video where you do, if you do. Him and I filmed a video here under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company titled, The Human Body is Just Mechanics. Well, the human body is just a mechanical machine. It's placed onto this rock in space that is our Earth. And there's only one way it functions. There's a neutral position to every joint. There is only one way that bones are shaped. The bones have muscles connecting to them through tendons, okay? And the tendons just pull the bones by the muscles doing the contraction or pulling, okay? The human body only pulls, and it only does it in line, is what I'm saying. It only works how it does. You know, we've got tendons, ligaments, bones, and muscles making up the structure of the human body. There's organs that only have the functions they do. Everything just has its own individual role to play, so the body has to work activated as a whole. Anything in the body not working correct, something else can't compensate for it because it's all got a different function. Okay, so we allow the body to work. What we do is come at it through clothing. You have to. It's the only thing physically placed on us. It's the only physical fix. Any problems we have as human beings that are physical problems, at least the discussions that we have under In the Image Clothing Company that are so deep about the problems we have as human beings, it's the only fix, the clothing. It's directly placed on us. Gravity exists on our Earth. Gravity has a centered pole. The human body has a centered line. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw stabilizes the entire body. Same thing for the dogs. In the Image Clothing Company, poodles is another one of our fourths. We let dogs stay natural with information that applies to all dogs and a lot of animals across the earth as well. Most all of our information on letting dogs stay natural would apply to most all animals across the earth. We discuss eating, sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, breathing, hydration, everything we do as human beings and as dogs, doing these things naturally in an unnatural, modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. There's only one way all this stuff happens. All these things can occur. Everything was always natural. The goal is natural on all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company because it's really the only thing that exists. Unnatural, synthetic, artificial, these are synonyms with fake. These are in our food labeling and our clothing's labeling. We have tags in our clothing that didn't exist either. Just tens of years ago from today's date, the 14th of January 2026. why we have tags in clothing is to let us know through labeling that we have unnatural, synthetic, and artificial, synonyms with fake, materials that we're placing onto our bodies. The body has holes in it called pores, where perspiration or sweat comes out. Things can go in as well. We rub things onto the skin called topical creams to soak into the body with the intent to heal it. Well, anything placed onto the skin is going to soak into the body, and it can poison it. Anything artificial is poison. The body's only natural. There's no opinion, no belief, no approach, no religion to natural. There was always only natural. There always only is natural, even still in modern day, that's actually real, right? Our synthetic things, they are poison. They're poisoning the planet. They're poisoning our bodies, poisoning the dogs. Collars, leashes, harnesses, similar things like this placed onto dogs are clothing for the dogs, bandanas, okay? We need to keep things centered, fitting correct, and in all the ways we can be made from 100% natural materials. 100% natural materials is the only option that was ever there until just tens of years ago from today's date. Anyway, okay, it's not the 16th, but it's the 14th of January, 2026. So, yeah, we got to be careful. Really, we can phrase it like that, okay? We do so much under the gift of video, under In The Image Clothing Company and all four sides. That's a lot of what we will always be as In The Image Clothing Company. We'll always have good clothing for human beings and dog products for the dogs and whatever else we branch out into product-wise. But we give a lot of free modifications in clothing because you don't have to care at all. But if you place something physically on your body, when your body only has one way that it operates, only one location where there's joints of bones, well, the joints of the material, if you will, have to be at the same joint, or the seams of the material have to be where the body has its bones meshing at what we could call seams. There's only one way these things happen. You'll never train it. It's impossible, and it always has been, to train the human body to get it to do anything. Don't believe me. Don't think I have some kind of claim when there's human beings out there, sports coaches, personal trainers, and people trying to get you to stretch your body. Well, the human body only pulls. Stretch goes the opposite direction. The airplanes are flying where they are. Overhead. It's still getting louder, actually. Are you patient enough to wait for things in life? You know, we have to wait for some things in life sometimes. So the human body, it can't be stretched, right? Why you can't stretch the body is a video Dante and I filmed here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Let me speak some words here. These are some videos we have under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. The human body is just mechanics. Keeping the body, not quite, but keeping our bodies over Earth's gravity. Staying in your center line, your center of gravity. Those are a few videos discussing how Earth just does what it does. Earth has a vertical pole of gravity and a horizontal surface we stand on. perpendicular angle there. It's a right angle. You ever led music before? It's very similar to that, okay? The angles, mathematics, truth. There's no opinion. You can't train the body. It's impossible to benefit from doing that. It'll only damage the body. You pull on muscle fibers to stretch them, and well, muscles only fire and contract and get closer together. We have opposing muscles. One side of a function pulls to close a joint. The other side of the function, on the opposite or opposing side of it, pulls to extend or open the hinge, okay, like the elbow. Biceps pull closed, triceps pull open. We don't actually push. It doesn't happen. It's impossible for the body to push, okay? But the body's just mechanics, and so there's opposition. There's opposing sides to things, everything in the body. Opposition in all things. We discuss this in the Gospel of Jesus Christ. 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company is In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We have deep discussions on what is really the truth of all things. I put the air quotes, but just meaning don't believe it. We're all human beings. We're all the same thing, placed on the same earth, designed by the same God. There's only one way things happen. You can measure truth. Okay, episode 203 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast is what we're on as of today's date, the 14th of January 2026. Episode 200 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast is titled Measuring Truth. You can just measure truth. There is truth to life. It's always underlying everything. And the truth is, I couldn't decide anything about how the human body works. It's been the same since God. Designed in the image of Jesus Christ, or in the image of God, okay? Jesus Christ is God. That's an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Don't believe me, okay? Don't believe Evan Strong, me, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, in this for life to lead it. Don't believe In the Image Clothing Company's team, any of our poodles, any of our human being team members. If you don't believe in anything, stuff has to still exist. Things are still there. There's still just life happening. It's only what it is. We can't have a say on what things are. Truth is truth. And in the beginning, God had to first look like us to design us in his image. So the human body's always been the same. And it just has, that's just the case. Bones are only shaped the way that they are. They're only the length that they are. There's just a thin layer of cartilage or cushioning between the bones to not wear them out. And then the bones connect to each other through ligaments. And they just have to mesh, okay? You'll never train it. You'll never train to a neutral. It's impossible. A neutral is Earth's gravity pulling the arms down at the sides. The fingertips are the shoulders. And it's just what it is, man. There's a neutral height to everything. Keeping elbows at the natural waist, right? The elbow is the shoulder through the humerus or the upper arm bone, directly connected. It's an immovable bone. So the neutral height to the shoulder, or the natural scapula position, a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here, it's the same as keeping elbows at the natural waist, which is a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. The hand is the shoulder. You lock the arm out at the elbow in between the hand and the shoulder, and the hand does exactly what the shoulder does, okay? The foot is the hip. You lock the foot out from the hip at the knee, in between the two, and do the exact same thing, okay? There's internal rotation from the neutral. There's external rotation from the neutral. The way that I say that is ridiculous. All right, Dante, I love you, buddy. Our poodles are our team members, just as much as the human being team members that we will always have, okay? We'll have a great team, always, under In the Image Clothing Company, doing what we do, living up Utah for the sake of the beautiful, diverse nature, for the sake of church history and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We'll get people into nature and dogs into nature through poodle parade events under In the Image Clothing Company. Poodles, bring your poodles, purebred of any size or mixed poodles of any size. It'll be great, okay? Things for the environment. For the Planet, episode 203 last night of In the Image Clothing Company podcast is titled For the Planet. Things like Clean the Creek or Rid the Rubbish, subcategories of Poodle Parade events. We'll actually pick up trash in the environment, do things for the earth. We do a lot under In the Image Clothing Company. That's some of it. Okay, the little bit of an introduction there for you on a few sides of In the Image Clothing Company. There are 4. So the point, though, with this video and its title, we give a lot of free modifications in clothing, okay? We have to have clothing sitting on the body correct. As if I can actually be mad at this guy for making noise, or this girl for making noise. Nah, I love it. I love a little bit of the surrounding sound. There's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled The Wind Noise, and it's just natural. A lot of times we have things nowadays that just seem so unnatural. Movies and videos and songs, you know, music people make, and there's no surrounding sounds. It sounds like this audio you're hearing is coming out of nowhere, because naturally in life there's just surrounding sounds. This video's title, sensory activation in the body. The body's natural, okay? No opinion to it. You eat anything unnatural, your body doesn't benefit from it. It has to process that thing through it, and it takes energy and effort to do so, which damages the body when no benefits coming, okay? No compensation for the work the body has to put in to just have something processed through it. There's no nutrients to extract. And anything unnatural, synthetic, artificial, okay? Fake. It's in the labeling of our food nowadays. No opinion. To natural being the goal. I mean, the goal is natural, but natural is just all that there is. There's no opinion to truth. It's measurable. This is the point. The human body and its sensory system. We're going to discuss this as we do. I'm in this for life. That's an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, because I am in this for life to lead it. And it'll be awesome, okay? We'll do so much beautiful beauty. We've got a lot of unnatural things nowadays. Sensory activation. The body has sensory functions to it, okay? Hearing, the sense of hearing. We receive sound waves into our ears, and they vibrate against this thin little layer of flesh we call an eardrum. And we can receive the sound, and we can interpret what that means, okay? We have eyes to see. God gave us ears to hear and eyes to see, so we can see things, you know, and there's a natural amount of light. The sun's as bright as the sun is. It rises every day, it sets every night. We've got a regular amount of light, if you will, if we can use the word regular, a normal, a natural amount of light. How bright it is and how long the duration of the day is, it varies throughout the year. But our bodies are used to these things because the sun is natural, the earth is natural, the human being is natural. Naturally, we see things at the amount of light that there just is. Nowadays, we've got some unnatural things. You see where I'm going if you see where I'm going. Our sense of taste, you know, we taste things naturally. We just taste things. Things are naturally the amount of sweetness they are. You eat some fruit. Lehi had a vision, man. The Book of Mormon. But you eat some fruit, and it's sweet. It's naturally sweet. In modern day, we have a lot of food that we just unnaturally sweeten. Okay, we've got unnatural sweeteners. We put excessive amounts of sugar in things that would never actually have sugar in them naturally. But then we've got artificial sweeteners, and we've got a lot of stuff going on, okay? So, the sense of taste. We've got the sense of, where are we at? Hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling. Smelling things, okay? A lot of times you'll see something, and at the same time you'll smell it. You know, you see a dog, and you might smell the dog. Maybe the dog smells amazing. Or it could smell pretty urine-like. Okay? Maybe you just bathe the dog, though, and it smells, you know, good because it's all freshly clean. Maybe you do it with some unnatural materials, and that's potentially very damaging for the dog. Okay? So don't. Try to do all you can to use natural things, because that's the only thing that actually really exists. Unnatural really is poison for the dogs as well as the human beings. We're just natural bodies of flesh and bone and blood. We're on the earth. Allowing the body to work, I thought this was a clothing company, some people might say. Yes, kind of. Really, only kind of. Kind of. We're certainly a clothing company. In the Image Clothing Company, the last two of our 5-word name as a whole, we're a clothing company. But only because it's the only thing physically placed onto the body. We never need to be a clothing company if we didn't wear clothing as human beings. We're a clothing company to allow the body to work. That's our slogan here on the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. Okay? But we do so much more than that. Allowing the body to work comes through all the ways that we're a body. And it's been the same since the founding. The 23rd of September, 2024. Okay? But a lot of times you'll see something and you'll smell it at the same time, and so you'll associate what you're looking at with what you're smelling. And we do this with animals, we do this with things in nature, we do this, you know, you're driving through a field of flowers, you smell the flowers as you're seeing the flowers, and your body has this whole, like, sensory activation. The senses of the body activate, and the body's lively. The body understands what's going on. The body feels alive because the body is alive, and so is life. the earth, it's alive, okay? The ground is not just dirt, it's alive. The plants get their nourishment from the ground. You know, we get our nourishment from the ground. You're only what you eat. You've only become the full-grown adult you have, or however grown you are. Maybe you're a kid, but at one point you were a baby. You've only gotten bigger because of what you ate. It became your body. In the Bible, the Holy Bible, it says we're pulled from the clay. Truly we are. Where else are you going to come from? How else do you grow if you don't eat? And the thing is, if you don't eat, not only do you not grow, but you lose weight and you die. Okay? You got to eat. Naturally, though. Okay? So, the sense of smell, we associate it with the sense of sight. The sense of sound, we associate with the sense of sight. The sense of sound, you associate with the sense of smell. The sense of taste, you associate with what you look at before you put it into your mouth. If you can see, you see it's something and then you eat it, you know. Our body's senses, they work together. The body's senses activate. Musculature in the body activates. And that's it. The only other end of activation is relaxation. You relax your body, like true relaxation, like just deactivate is what I mean. Relaxation and deactivation are essentially synonyms. When we say the muscles activate or they deactivate, you know, like a extreme level of relaxation, you just flop onto the ground. Well, just how you are when you're asleep, kind of. But not really, because it takes the entire body to some degree to stabilize in every single breath we take, even when you're asleep. What breathing is muscles contracting to open a void space, and then the exchange of gases happen in the body. Anyway, the body activates, or it doesn't, okay? Sensory activation, the body activates because of its senses. Taste, touch, sight, smell, and hearing. Touch, okay? It's another sense. There's 5 senses that we discuss as anyone who discusses the senses of the human being, okay? Maybe you've got more senses. Maybe you're senseless and you don't know anything in life. Try to find the truth. The truth is, we have the sense of touch, generally. Some people maybe don't. I don't know. Everyone's situation, exactly. But there is a universal human design, and we have a sense of touch. So you can touch things. There's a thistle. Yikes. That's funny. I wasn't trying to be silly about it. I'm going to grab this. There's a thistle. Okay, there's a lot of thistles right here. This is a thistle. It's a plant. This one's kind of dying. Well, it's dead. It's kind of shriveling up. It's not as pokey. Thistles are pokey. They protect themselves, right? There is seeds inside the thistle that cause more thistles to grow. As the seeds scatter across the ground, you're planting more thistles, but the thistle plants itself. Really, God's orchestrating everything. He makes all this stuff just happen, okay? So, Dante is so relaxed. I love that. Good boy, Dante. Thistles are pokey. How do you know thistles are pokey? Well, if you touch one, you'll feel that it's pokey. They've got, you've got the sense of touch. And things are pokey where they're pokey. Okay, sharp, like a needle, the tip of a needle, it'll poke you, okay? A rose thorn, it'll poke you. The sense of touch is very, 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 very sensitive, okay? Sensory activation. If you're just in life and there's a fly or a mosquito or a little butterfly, some kind of insect that lands on your skin, you're not looking at it. Your sense of sight's not involved. Your sense of smell's not involved. You don't smell it. You don't even hear it flying, let's say, and it lands on you. You haven't tasted it. Okay. Taste and see that the Lord is good. The Holy Bible. Natural. I'm naturally receiving the sound waves of this machine, but it's an unnatural sound because it's man-made. It is what it is. And what it is the sense of touch. When you notice a bug land on you, you haven't even seen it, and you just kind of flick it off your body, you know? You're just standing there in life, and a fly, a little insect, a little bug that flies around, right? People have different kind of insects across the earth. Let's make it universal. We do all we can to make everything universal. Truth is universal. We have a universal human design. The universe has a name, is an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Jesus Christ is the name of the universe. God. How else do we know who God is if we can't put a name on him? Don't believe me. This is the case, though. Sensory activation in the body is a sense of touch, noticing an insect landing on you before you even could know any other way that it's there. An insect, it weighs such little amount, dude. It's so light, man, girl, sister, brother, everyone that's listening. This is the case. Your body has a sense of touch, if it does. I mean, maybe you don't personally. People are different where they're different. You've got an amputation, a deformity, major surgery, or birth defect. Anything that sets your body apart a little bit or quite a bit makes you different. We're all different where we are, okay? The human body only has one way it could ever work, though, in the baseline structure. We need to do all that we can in our own individualistic situations to get as close as we can to the universal human design because of things like Earth's gravity and the human body's center line meshing with Earth's gravity. Things like immovable bones, the sternum and the spine in the center of the body. The spine moves, but not the bones themselves. The bones move where they connect to other bones. Each of the vertebrae of the spine has a lot of motion in it. The natural curve in the spine is a video Dante and I filmed under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here. Okay, the natural bend in the knee, that's another video Dante and I filmed under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here. Did someone turn on the fast forward? Holy cow, dude. Reel me back in, man. To the authentic version of me. I'm just searching for things until I'm not, and then truth is truth. The truth is, I've been given the gift of speaking well by God, so I just deliver the information I do the way that I do. I'm a lyricist. There's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled I'm a Musician. There's 1/4 of In the Image Clothing Company pod. Nah. But there is an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled, as well as I'm a Musician. Another one is titled The Greatest Battle. And me playing guitar has been the greatest battle of my life. But what I'm saying in addition to that is, yeah, there's another 4th of In the Image Clothing Company, In the Image Clothing Company music. I rap, right? Rhythm and poetry is what rap is. I do lyricism, spoken word. We sing, we play guitar, we make music geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ, as we are on all 4 sides of In the Image Clothing Company, under In the Image Clothing Company music. And a lot of what gets shown as well is the sizing and setup of guitar to not alter the neutral wrist. Straight out from that pinky finger on the outside of the forearm, that's the neutral to the wrist, okay? And we need to stay in that neutral wrist position in everything we do in our lives. We discuss in daily life and all aspects of it, having fingernails and toenails fully to the tips of your fingers and toes, backing and supporting them, natural strength, okay? As long as you don't cut your fingernails too short, you've got natural God-given strength through fingernails and toenails, supporting your fingers and toes. Cut relatively flat on the tips so we can stay in that neutral position of the wrist and the foot arch and ankle, okay? The feet grip arches opposing the center line. They grip inward and they keep us vertical on Earth's gravity, okay? Sensory activation in the body. The body's got to be able to activate. Well, this is the thing. The sense of touch gets activated when there's a fly that lands on your body or a grasshopper that jumps up on your body and you flick it off because you can feel it, even though it's a very small little bug or insect, animal, okay? You notice it, even if it's very small. The wind blows against your skin and you can feel it with the sensory system of your sense of touch in your body. You can't see the wind. You can't hear the wind, but you can feel the wind's effect physically. You can hear the wind's effect on things. As the wind blows past your ears here, you can hear the wind affecting your ears. You're not hearing the wind. There's senses in the body and they work together. They work independently or they work together. The human body, it can work independently or it can work together, kind of. Okay, what I mean is, there's a lot of things in the body that are directly other things in the body, but there's a lot of things that are indirectly other things in the body because everything in the body is connected. The senses all have their own individual role to play, okay? Like the body mechanically functioning on Earth as the machine that it is, Everything in it has its own individual role to play, okay? So what I'm saying is, the sense of touch, sensory activation, it's so subtle. I mean, you can barely brush against the hair of your skin or the hair of your head, you know, your eyebrows. If you have facial hair, you can barely touch your hair. You're not even touching your actual skin, and you notice it, you feel it, you can touch it, and your body notices it. The sense of touch, right? Sensory activation. Dante, dog, got another airplane, bud. Construction. You're good boy. Dirt from Dante's paws. I had him go through this tunnel over here. Well, it's not a tunnel, it's a tube about 2 feet tall. It's this tube, 2 feet in diameter, give or take. You know, they use it for like sewage. They put it under the ground, or just like directing water. I was doing some training with Dante. He had a really good time, and he was just so excited, and I congratulated him, you know, for him doing a good job, and he jumped up on me. He just jumps up on me where he does, you know. He's obedient, and he gets down when I tell him to get down. But there's just some mud on my shirt, just, you know. Mostly saying it for the sake of context on, we do a lot within the Image Clothing Company poodles. Dante broke through some fear, you know. He was scared to go through the tunnel. I guess, you know, but the tube. And then once he did it the first time, he was like, oh, I can do it. And he got so excited. And then we did it a few times, and on the last time that he did it, I didn't even command him to go through it. He just went through by himself. You know, at first he was too afraid to even do it. And then after doing it a few times and realizing it was okay, he did it by himself. Okay. That's awesome. Breaking through barriers, you know, growth. Learning that things aren't as scary as they often seem by doing them. We're afraid of things that we don't know, but once we know what the thing is, a lot of times we're just not even afraid of it at all anymore. We're afraid of the unknown. If we are. If we want to know, we just won't know everything in this life, right? Don't believe me. Don't agree, but that's right. There's just too much to know. So what you can know after watching this video, though, is what I've said in it, if you hear it. Okay, if you hear the words I say, don't believe me, but the truth that is in here, if there is any in here, I don't get to decide. But what I'm telling you is there's a sensory system to the body. A lot of stuff is happening with the body. Touch, taste, sight, smell, hearing. We have a lot of things in modern day that are very unnatural, okay? Unnatural amounts of lighting. The sun's as bright as the sun is. The sun doesn't change its brightness. We've got clouds that come over the sun in our atmosphere, between us and the sun, and it makes it so the sun's not as bright directly in our eyes, as if the sun's just shining with nothing in between us and it, besides just the atmosphere, naturally, okay? But even just the air quality like this, you know, the sun can be slightly, very, very slightly, with air quality like this, dimmer, if you will, than normal, but the sun's basically always the same brightness, okay? We've got fire. Fire is what fire is, man. Fire is as bright as fire is. And those are basically the only two things that ever would have existed, naturally. And then we had electricity be invented as human beings. Well, that's great. There's a lot of good things we can do with that. But what happens is we've got a lot of unnatural lighting nowadays. We've got lighting that's not just light bulbs, but then we've got lighting coming through screens in ways that is just so unnatural. Never could have possibly happened in the past. The color temperature to the lighting is very unnatural. The amount of brightness that's coming into our eyes is very unnatural, because we can be at a time in our location on the earth when the sun is completely on the other side of the planet. As the earth's rotating, revolving around the sun, we've got day and we've got night. God created a greater light to govern the day and a lesser light to govern the night, the sun and the moon, okay? And we can have it be nighttime. I love that I'm doing this through the construction noise. And when it is nighttime, we can have lighting be brighter in our own eyes than the sun would even ever be in our own eyes throughout the daytime. Okay? This is sensory activation in the body that's out of whack, if you will. It's out of its regular or regulation or natural. We can use the word natural. It's not natural for us to have such excessively bright light coming into our sense of sight in our eyes when it's nighttime and the sun's down outside through our technology. Okay, so that's a big thing. Natural lighting. We'll talk about this. Like I say, I'm in this for life. Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. This is a big thing that's happening. It's only going to get worse. It's been prophesied since a long time ago, thousands of years ago. Records were written, prophecies about things to come, and they're coming true. You can't deny it. Truth is truth. You don't have to be religious or believe in anything. I don't believe in anything. But God is the truth, and there's just truth to life. You can't deny truth without denying truth, being delusional. We don't know what we don't know, but once you know something, you're held accountable for it. You can't be held accountable for what you don't know, but you learn something and you know it. And I know God, as we all can, and as a lot of people do across the earth, okay? God is natural. God is like the... wow. God is the natural. God is nature. God is love. Love is natural. God created the earth and all its inhabitants, and that was all natural until human beings came and did unnatural things to it. Okay? Unnatural lighting is a big thing, and it happens all the ways it happens in so many places and cases in modern day. It's only going to get worse. Sounds, okay? Unnaturally loud sounds. There's not going to be anything loud in nature unless there's like a lion roaring, for example. Thunder happening in the sky, okay? In the atmosphere, in the clouds. Electricity. Natural, though. Okay, there's not going to be loud noises unless there's things like that happening. A landslide, maybe. Volcano erupting, maybe. An asteroid or meteorite, which is a smaller meteor, coming and hitting the planet. Okay, loud noises where there are. We've got so many things nowadays that are so loud, it's ridiculous. I'm not complaining about this at all, but this is a good example. This noise would have never even possibly been able to happen like this unless human beings created this. It's unnatural. Not necessarily always a bad thing. Times and places for things that otherwise, wouldn't be the best thing to have. It's okay to build things, It's actually good. Construction is a great thing. We can better our lives, and we could even help certain parts of the planet out in certain ways if, through things we can build. But it is unnatural to have machinery like this, okay? That's just the truth. I'm not saying a good or a bad thing in that sense, but it is unnatural. It never existed until we made it. Okay. The airplane, oh my heavens. Talk about that. You look up to what would normally just be the heavens naturally. Wherever you could say the heavens is, right? Heaven is here. There's no kind of place outside of space. Airplanes are unnatural, okay? That sound would never be there. It would be impossible for that sound just like that to even exist unless we made airplanes. There's unnatural materials, right? Unnaturally processed parts of the earth we turn into what we call fuel to fuel the airplane. You know what's natural fuel? Fruit, vegetables, grain, meat if you eat it. I'm vegetarian is the point, okay, with me saying it like that. But food that's natural is natural. It's fuel, okay? Food is fuel for the body. Fuel for our unnatural things we make. That fuel is unnatural. It's unnaturally refined and processed. It's unnatural. There's no opinion to it. It's not always such a terrible thing. Sometimes it's very beneficial without even being damaging. We just have to be intentional. But the point is, the sound wouldn't even be there. We're talking about the sense of sound, right? We're talking about the sense of sound. The sense of hearing things. Yeah, it's not a sense of sound, but the sense of being able to hear sounds that happen. Hearing is a sense. One of the five we have as human beings. There'd be nothing that's loud naturally. I wouldn't have to be yelling over things as much as I yell over things in the past. But I wouldn't be talking to a device to be able to document it under the gift of video either, right? So it's not always bad. That's what I'm saying. Unnatural things, there's times and places. We just have to know what it means to be intentional. So we have such an overstimulation, a sensory activation on a higher level than could ever possibly have happened in our ears and our sense of hearing through all the things we have nowadays in modern day. Speakers playing music, instruments that are just loud. Instruments are natural where they are. You know, you've got a big drum you make out of like the hide of an animal, the skin of an animal. You know, you put it over top something else like a piece of wood. You can make some loud sounds with a drum like that. It's entirely natural. But it was made by mankind. Never would have been there unless human beings did it. I'm just making it clear. I like to be clear. What's the focus? What's the reason? What does it mean to allow the body to work? It's not just clothing. Clothing's just the only thing physically placed on us. But if you've got an excess amount of noise in your life, that's unnatural. And your whole body will be overloaded with sensory activation. It goes into your emotional state. It goes into your body's physical workings. It truly does. Even if it seems kind of far-fetched, it just does. Motion. Energy in motion. Motion, the body's a mechanical machine, a machine of motion. The human body is just what it is, man. Truth is truth, man. Right? There's no opinion to what we do under In the Image Clothing Company. I mean, we're imperfect. We are opinionated where we are, just being equal human beings to everyone else who's a human being. But what we discuss here, we do all we can to not have any kind of approach on anything, just discuss truth of what's happening, because things are happening that never happened in the past. Couldn't have possibly happened. We invent things. Things didn't exist until they existed, right? The earth didn't exist until God created it. The human beings didn't exist until God created them. Cars didn't exist until we created them. Speakers for music to be played through didn't exist until we created them. Lighting, besides the sun or fire, basically, right? Lava, magma, right? Coming out of the earth, it's just hot. It's essentially fire, really, you know, if you can see it like that. Natural. Other than stuff like this, producing light, you know, little things in the ocean that can have some luminescence, right? Natural things, sure. There was no such thing as lighting the way we have it nowadays until we made it unnaturally as human beings, okay? And so we have an unnatural level of it. Too bright, too loud. Okay, a lot of things happening in our lives and our bodies are just overloaded. That's not us allowing our bodies to work. That's us forcing our bodies to have to deal with things that are hard for them to deal with, sensory-wise. It's no opinion. It's not like you can choose to like loud noise or loud music. You can choose to like things bright. You think you can see it better. You can't have an opinion on how your body works. You don't have an opinion on your body breathing by itself, or have an opinion on your body beating its heart to pump blood through it by itself. You don't have an opinion for your body stranding DNA together the way it does. However we could explain that, okay, right now. Or whatever it could be in the body. You don't have an opinion on these things happening. You don't have an opinion on your body just growing because you eat food. You know, you eat an apple and it turns into an organ in your body. Essentially, somehow your body's just growing. You don't have a say over these things. What I'm saying is we have no say. That's an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We don't have a say over it. Like, yeah, I'm just going to choose to be okay with loud noise. Actually, I like it, someone's saying. Your body doesn't. Your body works how your body works. Your eardrums can only tolerate certain amounts of volume measured in decibels of noise before they break. And you can't hear anything anymore. You only have this one body. The only thing that we have, an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, there's only natural, okay? Natural levels to things. Okay. There you go. Sight and sound. We discussed it relatively thoroughly. We'll discuss it where we do. going forth. I'm in this for life. Evan Strong, as the founder and leader of In the Image Clothing Company. Anyway, tasting things, right? That's what I mean. We have unnaturally sweetened things. You'll taste something, and it's not what it is. Well, first off, we'll eat something, and it's like blueberry flavored. Well, flavored with what? It's not flavored with blueberries, just to be clear, in almost every case. You've got like candy, and it says raspberry flavored. No, it's flavored with some kind of stuff that they... Pretty sure it's the same airplane. They have a flight school over here, so the planes just kind of fly back and forth over this area. And there's another one. It is what it is. It's unnatural. But I've been on airplanes. It's nice to be able to get places quick. Times and places, you see what I mean? Today's the 14th of January, 2026. We date mark. We just do things as we do. It's just another date marked documentation under In the Image Clothing Company. Okay, 4 sides to us. Listen to this if you would. I know you can hear it. Sense of sound, right? Unnatural. Sensory activation. An overload of stimulants. That's an electronic motorcycle. Okay. What does that even mean to someone that existed before that didn't? Well, I probably couldn't explain it to you without you thinking I'm making it up. Okay, truth is truth. This is what I mean. Natural, okay? Sensory activation in the body. So we eat things and we're tasting something that is labeled as a flavor, and it's not that thing. It says it's flavored away, but it's flavored to taste like something else. It's not blueberry. If it says blueberry flavored, it would just say contains blueberries. It's flavored to taste like a blueberry. It is not a blueberry, okay? And this is how it is with stuff like this in food. Like I mean, or like what I say and what I mean by that when I say unnatural, synthetic, artificial, synonyms with fake. It's not actually blueberry in your food if it's telling you it's flavored like a blueberry, right? That's just one of the things. It could be anything. Peach flavored, raspberry flavored, orange flavored, strawberry flavored, and those are just fruits, right? If all those are fruits. Pretty sure I said only fruits there. Doesn't matter. I just mean no matter what it is, it's just flavored like that thing. So the sensory activation in your body tastes, ooh, is this a fruit? It's not actually a fruit, okay? It's like the sensory activation in your body with the light. We have this unnatural lighting, okay? It's nighttime and the sun's actually down, but then it's bright lights in your eyes and your body's sensory activates. Your body's sensory system of sight activates. And it's like, whoa, has the sun just come up? No. Your body has what's called a circadian rhythm. There's a certain rhythm to life. Dante knows about these things personally. Okay, dogs are the same way. Animals are the same as human beings in so many ways. It wouldn't be the same without the airplane noise. It really wouldn't. I'm appreciative for it, actually. It just reminds us that it's so real. This is what I'm saying. Okay, I'll get to it. Okay. I'll get to that point. about the surrounding sounds and why I like it. Okay, why it's natural, because it is. Here's the point. With the circadian rhythm, the body has a certain regulatory rhythm, right? The sun's regulated. The sun comes up and goes down at the same time every day. Kind of, right? It changes throughout the year, but each year it's pretty well the same time the sun's coming up and going down. Do you see what I mean? I'm not trying to get all scientific with it as if I know exactly how the sun does its thing. But I do know the sun rises and the sun sets each day, okay? And that's the point, is our bodies are used to that. Our bodies have a rhythm, a circadian rhythm, meaning our bodies wake up when it gets light outside. Our bodies get ready to go to sleep when it gets dark outside. But nowadays, we have things that human beings never dealt with, and it's lighting that's just unnatural. There are so many airplanes in this town, man. I appreciate it. I really do. It's so interesting to say like that because I have to almost force my way through it. I just have to be persistent. I have to keep going. I have to keep doing it. Unless I purchased a microphone that was just noise canceling, all the surrounding sounds except for like a radius within it that I can determine, you know, like within only 5 feet of this microphone, pick up the sound, and outside of that, don't pick up any sound. Well, it's not natural. That's what I was saying when I said I'll get to that point. That's why the wind noise is natural. That's why the airplane noise in a video is natural, because if you're out here in life, it's just there, and we know it, and so it's, in a sense, become natural to us. It's unnatural, but it's a thing we will naturally hear nowadays because it's just there already. And so if you film a video and you have microphones, that's an unnatural thing already, but not bad to have, right? Like I'm saying, I call it the gift of video. It's unnatural to watch someone speak when they're not actually there. That's what I mean. Sensory activation. Your body's like, I'm watching and hearing a human being speak to me, and they're not actually there. What's going on? You know, that's how the body's feeling when these things are happening, okay? When we listen to music, when we watch videos, there's not actually a human being there, but it kind of seems as though there is. When you watch a dog or a baby look at a TV screen, television, okay, just any kind of device, anything, right? We've got so many devices. Technology just changes day to day, you know. People won't even know what a television is before much time goes past, probably. I don't know exactly, but, right? That's what I mean. You watch a baby or you watch a dog or some kind of animal, look at a screen that's portraying something that's not actually there. The baby or the dog is like so confused, they'll go up to it and like try to get to it, and it doesn't exist. It's unnatural sensory activation for your eyes to see something, your ears to hear something that it isn't actually there. It is fake. It's not real. It's good to be able to do. You just got to see things as they are. That's what I mean. Dante, dog. Hey, up. Good. Here's Dante. I told you he was here. You didn't have to believe it, but he's here. Oh, he sneezed. You are good, man. Okay, Dante, down. Okay. Sensory activation, right? We have videos that we listen to and watch. And it's like, if I were standing here and there was no surrounding sounds, you didn't hear the electronic motorcycle going by, you didn't hear the airplanes overhead, you didn't hear the construction noise or Dante, you know, brushing up against something, let's say, a few feet away from me, because we had a microphone that only picked up the sound within a distance of area that we set it to through technology, right? It's unnatural, because if you were actually standing here where the camera lens is and I was speaking to you, you'd hear everything else around that I'm hearing. Let's say we have the same ears capability, right? Our ears work just as well as each other's. You'd hear all the same things here that I'm hearing. But if we have videos we're watching or music we're listening to or anything like this through technology and the surrounding sounds aren't there, our body's sensory activation is just not balanced. It's not normal, okay? Sensory activation in the body. This video here, that's the title, under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. This is what I'm saying. It's not a normal level of activation for our body's sensory system to receive what's happening in modern day, because things are unnatural. So the natural senses of the body are altered, okay? And that's huge, man. That's such a huge thing. Because we've got a lot going on. We're just so out of touch as human beings. In modern day, 2026 and going forth, it'll only get worse. I'm not prophesying, but human beings did thousands of years ago, and it's just happening. What they said would, you can't deny it. Truth is truth. Shoot, man, the gospel of Jesus Christ, that's what I mean. So, yeah, sense of touch. It's crazy, you know? Man. It's crazy. There's only truth. You know, you couldn't possibly have an opinion on truth that mattered. No, neither could I. I mean, nobody could. That's what I mean. It's apart from all of us. It's always been here. There's always been the sun having the natural amount of brightness the sun has for every human being ever, until we invented electricity. I mean, there's electricity naturally through lightning, for example, you know, static electricity, but our ability to harness electricity as human beings, it's unnatural. Shoot, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. So we just need to be able to hear things as if we're actually there, if we're watching things as if we're actually there. Because you can watch a video with no sound. That's impossible to do before there was video. You're never going to stand in life in front of a human being if you have the ability to hear and watch them speak to you and not hear their words. But in modern day, we can sit here and look at something that's been recorded through video. It's the gift of video. I love it. It's amazing. It's great. But we've got to understand what's happening, or our bodies are just not knowing how to deal with it. Because you're watching someone speak, but you can turn the volume all the way down, or you can mute them. And so they're speaking, and you're seeing it with one of your senses, but you're not hearing it with the other one of your five senses. You can't hear the people speak, but you can tell they're speaking. For your body, it's like it doesn't know what's going on. It's like a kid or a dog, like a little kid, you know, not understanding what's happening through technology because it's not real, and it'll never be real. No matter how accustomed to it we get, or how normal it seems to become to us, technology will never be real. It'll never be natural. It'll never be a normal thing for the human body to experience things like this, even if it becomes something we have to normally interact with in our lives. It's not all bad. There's definitely some huge major benefits to a lot of these things, but it's unnatural. No matter what. So, man, our bodies don't appreciate food anymore. We eat an excessive amount of food because our bodies aren't actually eating real food so often as human beings. And so our bodies think things are happening that aren't actually happening, okay? That's crazy. It's crazy, man. Sensory activation in the body, okay? It's crazy. Sight, taste, hearing. We've gone over these things relatively thoroughly. Smelling. Like I'm saying with food, we have things nowadays that are labeled as the scent of something, like lavender. And maybe there's no lavender in it. Lavender's a plant, okay? It just naturally has a smell. Pheromones, if you will. In animals and in plants, there's smells that come off things. Human beings, we can call it body odor. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a good smell. The odor coming off of the body. You can have odor coming from perfume or from a flower. Odor is just a smell that something produces, okay? Like excretion. Something can excrete something pretty gross and disgusting, but something can excrete something very healthy, natural. Water, you can excrete water, if you will. Excreting saliva into your mouth is totally natural. Well, so will be this other thing I say, but it's not weird to us to think of the word excrete with saliva. But if you excrete bowel movement, okay, feces, it's still something just like coming out of something. And so odor, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like body odor, it doesn't have to be a bad smell, and bad is an opinion anyway. Truth is truth. The truth is, there's a lot of things nowadays we have that are labeled something as far as a smell, and it's not actually that thing at all. So you've got something that's labeled as lavender with no lavender in it, right? Something that's labeled as a rose smell, like the flower that is a rose, it just naturally produces an odor or a smell. This flower smells how this flower smells, regardless of whatever you want to ever think about it. We label the flower a rose, and then now we make a product as a human being, unnaturally, an unnatural product, and we take things from the planet and unnaturally refine them to resemble the smell of the flower that we labeled a rose. And so we label this smell that's unreal, it's fake, unnatural, synthetic, artificial. Rose smell, it resembles the smell of a rose. It's not real. So our sense of smell, we smell something, and our bodies maybe have smelled an actual flower before that we call a rose, but we're smelling an artificial thing that smells a lot like the rose, and it's labeled a rose, but it's not. There's no flower in this thing at all. Okay, the flower that we call a rose, let's say, or the plant that we call a lavender plant, there's maybe actually no lavender plant in something that smells a lot like a lavender plant. So our body's sensory system of the sense of smell activates. Okay, sensory activation in the body. This video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company, the body's sense of smell activates, thinking it's smelling a plant when we're smelling something that's not a plant. There's no plant material in it, maybe, but it's labeled as lavender. Smells very, very close to the plant that's lavender, but it's tricking our body's sensory system. That's crazy. That's true. It's weird. It's unnatural. We get so out of touch. We don't know what's going on anymore as human beings. Okay. Anyway. I almost choked. I breathed in some saliva there. Wow. Hi, Dante. You good boy. Crazy, man. This is crazy. Man, I'm a crazy man. I get it. I'm saying things that are so weird to so many people, but it's so weird that it's so weird to so many people. This is something that would be crazy to not be crazy to people in the past, right? We just become so accustomed to things, so accustomed to all this noise around us. Someone comes from a place on the earth where they live in a rainforest, where they live on an island, okay? And there's just about no machinery at all. And you put this person in a modern city, okay, 2026 or going forth. Today's the 14th of January, 2026. Going forth, right? Whenever, now, ever. If you do it, though, the people coming from the rainforest or an island, somewhere remote like this, where there's just about no sounds around besides just the wind, the animals, just natural things, the water flowing, right? Just noise that's naturally always and has naturally always been there. You put this person into a modern city, and they don't even know what's going on. They just got car noises, vehicles through construction like this, this thing over here. Call it a thing, you call it a backhoe. It's got a big bucket on it. It's digging up dirt. It's got a lot of noise coming from it, okay? You've got school bells ringing. You've got music playing. and the music's like moving so excessively quickly, it doesn't make any sense, right? Coming from a vehicle's speakers as it's driving down the road at an unnatural speed, you know, unnaturally fast. This is what we're doing as human beings. This is the kind of life we're living as human beings. And it's no opinion. There's no opinion to natural. There's no approach to natural. There's no opinion to truth. The truth is, things are only natural or they're unnatural. There's two sides to things. There's opposition in all things. There's fiction and there's non-fiction. There's fortunate and there's unfortunate. Right? There's natural or there's unnatural. There's no opinion. It never will change, even when everything changes in our world. The man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. This is what I mean. There's only natural. So I'll stand here and yell about it, okay? What I'm saying, though, is there's so much unnatural in our lives. And we don't even know what life is. A lot of people are so disconnected. We're human beings. We love to connect with each other. There's opposition in all things. We're so disconnected as human beings, okay? In modern 2026 and going forth, it's only going to get worse. Not my words, not my prophecies, but the prophecies, they're written down in a book, multiple books, the Holy Bible, the Book of Mormon. Look it up. Look it up if you want to know the truth, because there's only truth. And the truth is, a lot of people think that they're living a life and they're not. I'm not trying to trying to tell people, like, you're not living that good of a life. Your life is not real enough for me. I'm just such a real person, and you're not. I'm going to stand here and look down on you. That's not what I mean in this. Sometimes maybe I say what I say, as harsh as it sounds, I say what I say. Condemn me for it if you want. I've said it. You know, truth is truth. You can't take it back. So don't try to. It's a waste of time. But what I mean is, a lot of people live a lot of lives and none of them are theirs, okay? People think that they're doing things that they're really not. We have simulations. You're simulating truth. It's in the literal wording. I couldn't have an opinion on it, right? We have a lot of simulations nowadays. Driving simulations, okay? Artificial things. That word's what that word is. You know what that word is. You know where that word's coming from. So many artificial things nowadays. Virtual things nowadays. What does the word virtual mean? It's virtually this thing, but it's not actually. You know, virtual is kind of like, kind of. Okay? It's kind of this, but it's not actually. You know, it's simulating this, but it's not actually. Okay? It's resembling this, but it's not actually. This is what we're dealing with in life. Dante is like looking over at me as he's walking away. Where are you going? I mean, I'm fine with him. We're somewhere where it's safe for him to be off his lead. I have one here in case of emergency, really is the point. But I don't know where he's going. What's up? I'm just standing here yelling and you're just kind of going to go do your own thing? Up, up. Yeah. Woo! Look at you stretch, boy. Look at you stretch. You're a good dog, man. Good boy, Dante. Good boy. Okay, we have a lot of things in modern day that are unnatural, okay? What's the video's title? Sensory activation in the body. So many things are activating our senses, and they're not actually happening. They're not actually happening, okay? We are experiencing a lot of things, like you picture watching a movie and you get so afraid and so scared. A jump scare happens in a scary movie. There's nothing actually there. You think you're watching something, you're not. You're watching a bunch of little color display images on a flat thing that's not there. So our body's sensory system is overloaded, right? We're experiencing all these emotions, okay? The sense of sound is activating, and the sense of hearing, right, with the sounds coming into our eardrums through these loud speakers of what we're watching. The sense of sight is activating as we're watching this movie. Nothing's moving. It's a flat screen. It's not real. It's not even there. It's not. It's fake. It's a bunch of little tiny, what we call pixels. Little tiny colors. Red, green, and blue. RGB, okay? Screens. And as you mix these primary colors, red, green, and blue, together, you can make any other color that you can make out of them. And you can portray something on this flat screen as if it's actually there, and there's nothing there. The body's sensory system is overloaded. Sensory activation in the body, this video's title under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company, is just all out of balance. The body's emotions are going haywire, okay? The body's emotions are going all over the place with just not knowing how to deal with what's happening. Our eyes are just being so stimulated when there's not actually anything really there. Our ears are being so stimulated through the speakers, projecting sound that happened back at the time it was recorded. It's not even actually happening. We're replaying something that did happen as if it's happening right now, and it is not. It is fake. It is unreal, literally. And it's unreal that it's so crazy. Okay? This is truth. That always remains and always exists. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. This is what I mean by the gospel of Jesus Christ is the truth of all things. It's an explanation to life. You don't have to believe in anything, but you can. You can believe all you want that what you're seeing on this screen is happening right there, and it's not. Probably didn't even happen at the time that they could have recorded what's happening there. We've got things nowadays that are just made up through technology, rendered, okay? It never actually happened. It's not like how you can film something like you're watching me now. I'm not actually here speaking to you, but I was on the 14th of January, 2026, standing in this field with Dante, my standard poodle, speaking these words. They've been documented and recorded. And as you're hearing it right now, unless you're somebody actually around me in my immediate vicinity here, close enough to me in proximity that you can actually hear my words, you're not actually hearing me speak. You're hearing a recording of what I have at one point spoken. This is our body's sensory system, sensory activation in our bodies just being overloaded, so confused, lied to, in all truth. Wow, there you go, both ends of something. Opposition in all things. It's just there's only truth or there's not. The truth is I'm speaking these words right now. But as I just said, right now, you're not hearing them at the time that I spoke them. It was the 14th of September, 2026. September? It's January. 14th of January, 2026. Okay? What I'm saying is our bodies don't know what's going on in modern day. Okay? Sensory activation in the body. This video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. Dante's face, man. He's just like sneaking away. Like, he doesn't know what I'm doing, I guess? That's what I mean, you know? Who am I talking to? There's no one here. But potentially billions of human beings can hear these words that I have spoken. How does that work? Well, it's fake. It doesn't make sense. Not really. Good boy, Dante. Anyway, sensory activation in the body. So we discussed this with clothing under In The Image Clothing Company. Because the sense of touch, like I was saying toward the beginning of this video, you know, you touch anything and you feel it physically. It's a sense. One of the five is the sense of touch, okay? One of the five senses. Our clothing's the only thing physically placed on us. And so we're talking about a lot in this video here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company, right? Sensory activation in the body, the sense of touch. Well, clothing's the only thing physically placed on us. So we're physically touching our clothing at all times that is placed on us. Gravity is affecting our bodies as much as it's affecting the clothing that's physically placed on us. And so we've got unnatural, artificial, synthetic sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and things that we touch. So stuff placed onto our bodies and our clothing Synthetic, artificial, unnatural, synonyms with fake. Okay? It's placed on our bodies, though, and our bodies are only natural. So our bodies don't know how to deal with it. Okay? Things like tags in clothing, sensory. It's like just having something stuck between your clothing and your body like a leaf. Pick up a leaf off the ground and I place it between my body and my clothing. It's so similar, just about the exact same type of thing happening as a tag placed in our clothing. Didn't happen just tens of years ago as of today's date, the 14th of January, 2026. Okay. Stretch in clothing. You're gonna interact with just about nothing in life ever that reacts the way that stretch does in our modern things we have until we invented them just tens of years ago from today's date back, the 14th of January 2026. The muscles only contract. That's the opposite direction of stretch. Okay, sensory activation in the body, your body's sense of touch, well, it can't really activate. Muscle fibers fire. Nerve endings fire. These things are two endpoints essentially coming together. Two endpoints coming together while keeping 2 points of contact in the feet. A video here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company, Dante and I filmed at beautiful Utah Lake here in Utah. Okay. Muscle fibers firing, they come together, okay? Nerve endings, which is our sense of touch, the nervous system coming from our brain, stemming through the brain stem and out the spine through the entire body, through nerve endings. Nerves fire. It's kind of like having two things come together, okay? Firing. Electricity, that's how it works. You know, one end comes to the other end and it makes connection. Stretch goes the opposite direction of connecting. You're pulling apart instead of coming together. The human body only pulls. Even in what seems like a push, it's always coming together. Dante, come! Hey! Either way, it's still good for him to just come. But the truck actually turned. I thought it was going to come down the road. He was just sitting in the middle of the road there. It's also good to just have that command be practiced, you know, so that he is good at it, no matter the situation. Good. He just wags his tail. Good boy. Good. Up, up. You're good. You're so good. You love it out here, huh? You love it, man. Yeah. I was gonna clean out his eye, but I'll do it when I do it. So anyway, yeah, I mean, our sense of touch is just imbalanced. We don't know what it means to actually touch things anymore nowadays. Well, a lot of that too, good boy. This video, man, it's ridiculous. A lot of that is really coming from, you know, like I said, with watching something on a screen, it's not actually there. It's not actually happening, but we think it is. It's like us touching our screens and our technology in modern day and going forth. It's only going to get more unnatural. We think we're touching something to make something happening. We're not actually touching anything. If you turn off the power to the device, you can still touch it all you want. It's not going to do anything. It's not actually physically doing anything. When the device is turned on and you're causing things to happen through the technology by just touching it, you're not actually touching anything that you think you are. You're touching just a piece of glass, if that's what it is on the front of the screen, or whatever it is you're touching that's this technology. You're not actually touching what you think you are. So your body's sense of touch is just like, what? And it becomes what we think of as normal because we're so used to it being around us as human beings. But the body's sensory activation, or sensory activation in the body, is so just confused. In the Image Clothing Company, allowing the body to work is not just clothing. Clothing is the only thing physically placed on us. But you're not allowing your body to work. When the only way our bodies know anything about this life, really, is through their 5 senses, if you're not letting those five senses do what they would naturally do, because we live in an unnatural, modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth, yeah, I mean, you're so out of touch, you have no idea what's actually real. There's only real. You can never choose real. You can never invent real. Where's the sound coming from? You'd never have that until human beings built the truck that's making the sound. There's only been trucks for about 100 years, give or take, as of today's date. Really? And that's crazy. 14th is January 2026. It's just crazy, dude, because you say this kind of stuff and without a lot of context behind it, a lot of people probably think you're just caught up on something. You've got some kind of opinion or a belief. No, it's truth. You don't have to care, but it's true to you too. Truth is truth. You couldn't deny it. But a lot of times it just has to come with quite a bit of context for people to see what you're really saying. Like the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's just truth. But you need some context to know what's actually happening, or you just might not know what's actually happening. In life, it's the truth of all things. It's a blueprint to life. It's an explanation to life. It's just what it is, explained. Okay? Anyway, sense of touch. So you've got stretch in clothing anywhere. Your body's like, what? It's going the opposite direction of your body just existing. I mean, even gravity pulls the opposite direction of stretch, right? Gravity pulls you down. Stretch goes away. I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's like a bungee cord, you know? You jump off a cliff, but you're connected to something stretchy. It's such an unnatural thing to jump off a cliff. But if you're connected to something that can unnaturally stretch you back up, you can jump off a cliff. Oh my gosh! Dante, dog! We're saying things that are crazy to say, but they are true. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway, you good, boy? Up? Yes. You're Dante, dog. How tall can you be right now, man? Oh my goodness. Alright, there you go, okay? Sensory activation in the body. I mean, we can talk about this all we can talk about it, you know, we could talk about it so deeply. We could just talk about everything that's happening that we don't even realize is not real, but it's just happening around us all the time in modern day. It's crazy. Once you see the truth, your eyes are opened, man. There's only truth. And so, the truth is, the body's sensory system is something we didn't design, but someone did. It's there. We have one, right? If you do, I mean, if you have any senses, unless you're senseless. Do you see what I mean? I speak so harsh, man. I just yell about stuff, but truth is truth. I'm gonna yell about it if I'm gonna yell about it, you know? Yeah, if you have any senses, they only work how they do. You didn't design your senses, you didn't create your body, you know. You don't decide for your body to hear things. Things make noise and you receive the sound that the noise is. It's unreal. I mean, I was very lost for a lot of my life, up until a couple years ago, give or take. But it's crazy. There's only truth. It can never leave. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, okay. Sensory activation in the body. We could talk about so much. I mean, I could just discuss anything that I could discuss here to give something that matters to hear. There's a lot that matters to know. Kind of. I mean, there's so much to know, and it's good to not know most all of it. But the truth, you know, just enlightening people on what's really happening, even if you don't see it, even if you don't think it applies to you, it does. Even if you don't think you're affected by it, you are. You know, truth is truth. No human being could ever decide what that is or what that means. Okay. I mean, sensory activation in the body, even just heat and cold. Unless you made a fire in the past, you wouldn't have it be warmer than it just is outside. Okay? Not really. Okay? Not really is what I mean. Yeah, not really. The sun warms up the earth, but we've got things nowadays, you know, we're just so used to it being a specific temperature when outside it's not. You know, right now it's cold. It's probably right around, I don't know, in the 30s, give or take. Fahrenheit. It's cold. It's winter here in Utah County. It's cold, you know, but you go inside a house and you can have it be whatever you want, basically, you know, 71, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, even level all day, every day. That's the body's senses being altered from natural. And it's good in ways, but it's not natural. It isn't. Never could have happened like that in the past. Not really, right? You see what I mean? You couldn't really do that. And that's what I mean as well. Just the stagnant lighting. You go in a house and you flip on a light switch. It's just one even light amount all day or night. Outside, you know, even though the sun's just overhead all of the day that it's overhead, let's say maybe, you know, the clouds go between you and the sun for a little while, and they come, you know, and then they blow away, dissipate, right? Or it's raining and the sun's coming down, the beams of sun or the rays of sun are coming through the rain, which is just water in the atmosphere. You know, it's just, there's different levels to the amount of lighting throughout the day sometimes. But inside of our houses and our modern man-made buildings, we just have this like stagnant level of brightness. And a lot of times it's an unnatural, Dante, light temperature, you know, warmth versus cold, light. Like the way you look at things in life, and things look warmer or colder color-wise, you know. We can get into explaining all that, but the point is, yeah, it's unnatural. So I'm going to leave it right there. We'll talk about it as and where we do. I am in this for life. Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. I'm here to lead this, to do what we do here. Really, we do allow the body to work. We truly are a clothing company, yes, but everything we do in our lives. So yeah, we'll move down to St. George, Utah, Dante and I, and it'll be beautiful. A true desert down there. Very, very warm in the summers, okay? 100-degree Fahrenheit plus weather very commonly, but it's great. I love it. It's awesome. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay.